Hello and welcome to Fantasy Premier League, the D-Unit's journey. This is your Game Week 14 preview. Now, remember that Game Week 14, the deadline is there's only 2 days between the last game on Sunday, which is literally just finished, and the deadline on Tuesday night. Mad. Absolutely mad. We've got literally 2 days. So if you are not switched on, you are going to be missing out. So you need to make sure that you are with it and you're on the pulse, because this is the time of the year where you can take advantage of teams that are not fully paying attention to what's actually going on. So it's very important that you are paying attention so you can make up as much rank as possible, because some people are not paying attention and their moves can be a little bit silly. So look, let's get into it. This week, there is much to talk about. There's been some monster scores. I'm on a big green arrow. I'm back inside the top 100,000 teams. As of speaking, Football Fantasy Hub actually reckons I'm inside the top 63,000 teams. At the end of Saturday, it was top 56,000. If it wasn't for the fact I left some points on my bench and the fact that Salah and Palmer both did amazing things on Sunday, I'd be even further inside the top 100,000. But look, that's pretty good green arrow so far. So let's get straight into my early thoughts and early doors for Game Week 14. So all 3 premium midfielders delivered monster hauls. This has definitely been the correct structure. So when on wildcard in Game Week 12, and I said I wanted to get in the 5 premium midfielders and the forwards and stuff, and not go with the Haaland draft. It has turned out to be completely vindicated. Erling Haaland has literally blanked again, and Liverpool have beaten them 2-0, and Salah got a goal and an assist, 11 points. He will be getting 3 bonus points as well. It hasn't obviously updated yet. And the same for Cole Palmer. He got a goal and assist on Sunday night against Aston Villa as well. The premium midfielders are literally delivering premium scores. Unlike Erling Haaland, I think there's something to be said about Haaland though. Manchester City's fixtures, we are going to look at them a little bit. They do get easier from here. That is, I think it's now 6 games in a row without a win. But this is unheard of for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. It's unheard of. I don't think it continues. He's eventually going to turn it around, and then the goals are going to come, and Man City are going to start picking up points. So that's something that you need to be taking into serious consideration. There's no way that that's going to continue moving forward. It's just humanly not possible, I don't think. But look, if you aren't on the 3 premium midfielders structure, you probably need to look to get him in. I know I've seen some people picking Son instead of Saka. I mean, that was just turned out to be one of the dumbest decisions that anyone could potentially have made. And this is definitely something you've got to keep in mind of as well. Now, unfortunately, but Cunha and João Pedro blanked. 2 premium forwards, not premium, budget forwards that everyone thought was going to be, that were just going to do well. Well, they didn't go very well at all. And I know of a number of people, not that captained Cunha, but I know of a number of people in my league in particular that captained João Pedro, and your Friday night did not get off to a good start. The Friday night football, whenever it's on, always reminds me of the Saturday early morning or the Saturday lunchtime kickoff. It's fraught with danger. There's just weird stuff happens in these things, and I think that's something you've got to take in mind. I quite like having your captain towards later in the game week. I don't know why. Like, I obviously had mine on the late kickoff on Saturday, and Bakary Saka was unbelievable. Like, my differential in picking him as captain guaranteed maybe an extra 4 points than picking Cole Palmer or Mo Salah. I mean, I was unlucky. He could have had a couple of goals in there. But it was a performance for the ages, and definitely vindicated my decision to go with Saka when I did. I think that it was definitely the right play bringing him in. Martin Odegaard, I'll talk about him in a little bit as well. He is a large reason as to why Bakary Saka is doing so well. Ever since he's come back on the team, he plays so much on the right hand side. And Julian Timber I really like as an option as well. He does look nailed on there. Gabriel obviously went off injured, which is something to keep in mind. Now, I'm not sure what the rules are, but I'm guessing that either there was the same issue that he went off with in the Champions League, or he got knocked out. If he got knocked out, he's not playing this week. That's my understanding of the rules. I'm not sure what it's like. I don't know if you have to be medically cleared or how many days you've got to do if you have been taken off for getting knocked out or like a concussion. Because he did cop the Fabianski's fist right to his head. Yeah, I'm not sure. If anyone knows what the actual rules are there, I would be very keen to know. I'd be very keen to know. Defences underperforming again. I mean, I got it wrong this week. I had Kirkes and Colwill sitting on my bench. Chelsea kept a clean sheet this week, but couldn't keep one the week before. Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell? Well, Leicester scored again against Brentford as well, so there's that. But yeah, look, I just think the defences in general have been pretty bad. And look, Aït-Nouri got 0 points and Bournemouth scored 4 against him. And how would I was to know that Kirkes was going to score? I mean, I did toy up playing Kirkes over Aït-Nouri. Again, that would have improved my rank significantly. I would have probably been inside the top 50k then rather than the top 60. What did I say I was? Top 61? Top 63. 63,707. So like I'm trending in the right direction. So 2 weeks ago I was 169. Now I'm down into 63. That's pretty good. I'll take that. And this is why I also don't like the double up on defence. So obviously the Southampton fixture is one that we all target because they're the bottom of the Premier League, and they should be the easy fixture that you should be targeting. Unfortunately, they quite often score goals, like just the one goal or whatever. Like they beat Arsenal twice in the defence. Like it's maddening what's going on with some of these defenders this season. Like yes, Man United kept a clean sheet, Chelsea kept a clean sheet, Liverpool kept a clean sheet, all on Sunday. But there's been so many disappointments in terms of defence this year. I think it is literally just best to go budget, even though I have made a defender transfer this week, and we'll get on to the 2 transfers I've done and what I think people should be doing. Now, one point that isn't on here that should be on here is Brian Mbeumo, I think, is a sell. 100% sell. We'll look at his numbers in a little bit, but he's definitely on the door for going and leaving my team this week. And yeah, look, that's just been disappointing, really, if anything. And the Haaland continues to blank, but I think you do keep him. We'll look at City's fixtures in a little bit, but I think he will improve. But I think, yeah, if you've got him and it's just ruining the rest of your team, it's probably still a good idea to get rid of him. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. And doubling up on defence, but I think you've got to budget it up. And now I've got between my 2 goalkeepers and my 5 defenders, I've got 7 teams covered in the Premier League. And I think I prefer that rather than doubling up. I mean, just to put it into context, Andy from Let's Talk FPL has a triple up on Arsenal defence. I wonder how well that went for him. I know he had Gabriel, so he got 9 points. But the other 2, no good. West Ham scored twice. I mean, unlucky. Like the free kick goal was absolutely amazing from Emerson. Probably the best free kick you'll see this season in the Premier League. Or it'll be up there anyway. But I just think doubling up on defence is such fraught with danger. And like, it's hard to get points anyway. I got 6 points from my 8 players. 6 points from my 4 players in defence this week. It's just not good enough. And I have 13 points in the defence on the bench. Just sucks. It'll probably be the same this week as well. All right. Well, with that all being said, I will take you to what is likely to be my live rank, hopefully, when I show you. I'm just waiting for it to hopefully load up on my screen. Otherwise, we're not going to go there. In fact, we'll go here. All right. So, moving in to the team of the week. So, look, there is some monster scores in there. So, obviously, Marcus Rashford got a double for Manchester United. Who would have thought that? I did say he could be a cheeky shot if he was starting, and he wasn't. I don't really know whether he was playing. I don't really feel like he was playing the 9 role tonight. It was like he was more playing a 10, or Joshua Zirkzee and him just kept rotating between the 10 and the 9. I'm not sure, but he was fantastic, and Marcus Rashford, he's worthy of a look. I can tell you that much. Obviously, I don't know if he'll make the actual cut at the end of the game, because obviously Cole Palmer is going to get 14 points, and Mo Salah is also going to get 14 points. So you've got to take that into account. Robert Sanchez obviously got the top scoring goalkeeper this week. He was pretty good value. Shade, how good's that? 3 goals and an assist there for that 23 points. Clivert with a hat-trick of penalties. Like, come on. That's just ridiculous. Hat-trick of penalties, 20 points. Evanilson and Strand Larson, both fantastic budget options and forwards. I think there'll be a lot of people who are disappointed this week that they sold Strand Larson to João Pedro. And João Pedro blanks, and Strand Larson got 11 points. Sometimes these things are really hard to read. And look, you just got to be a little bit honest. So look, we'll go to the league and how I've been doing. Now, I just really want to cover the top transfers in and out really quickly. And Buemo, as you can see, there is heading up the list of people getting sold. Isaac is also looking problematic for me because he's in my team. Haaland again is in the list, and I dare say after this game's just finished now that Haaland's numbers will continue to go upwards in terms of the people getting rid of him. He is going to be under his asking price from the start of the season very shortly, I think, because I think that, yeah, it doesn't look good there. Welbeck's 5th on the list, which is interesting. And then on the inside, incoming is obviously Saka with that amazing 18-point hauls at the top. Nicholas Jackson, people are now ignoring the yellow card risk and realising that maybe he is the right answer with that Chelsea run of fixtures, and he does look good, and he's got Southampton up next. Makes perfect sense why people are buying him. Cunha, 3rd most bought in player. Again, I still think João Pedro is the better pick. The Cunha removes his nice fixture run does end very shortly in like 4 or 5 game weeks, so we'll look at that briefly, but I wouldn't be recommending that. Wan-Bissaka, that dude never scored for Man United. Like, I think he scored maybe once or twice in like his whole time there. He scored twice in 2 weeks for West Ham. Like, what the hell is going on there? I don't think that's likely to continue, but he's been good. He's finished really well the last couple of weeks. And Matoma, he's brilliant. He is actually one of the transfers I have bought in this week because I wanted to get out of the double Brighton defence, which is what I've done. Now, ironically, they'll probably keep a bunch of clean sheets now, and I wish I had a double Brighton defence, but I'm quite happy having Matoma in my team, and we'll get onto what I've done with my transfers very shortly. Now, onto my points for this week. I am sitting on 83 points for the week at the moment. That is prior to bonus points being added on Sunday. Now, I'm expecting bonus points to be added to Cole Palmer, which will be 3, which will take him to 14, and Mo Salah, which will take him also to 14. And I'm not expecting any for the rest because obviously Amad Diallo got a pair of assists and he was definitely best on ground in the Man United game. Rashford obviously scored 2 goals and so did Joshua Zirkzee. So unfortunately Bruno Fernandes, even with his 2 assists, is probably going to miss out on any bonus points here, which is unfortunate, but I'm not complaining. I've still got 9 points from him. Now, I obviously got the forward correct. Isaac obviously only played 22 minutes and got 1 point, but I did get Kirkes and Colwill wrong. Hall was so close to a clean sheet for Newcastle. It's so infuriating when your team concedes after 90 minutes. And Newcastle were that team again for me this week. Last week I had the similar thing with Brighton and Chelsea defence conceding late on. This week it was Newcastle. It's not been a fun time, my defence. But it is what it is. So look, I'm not complaining. I'm on a big green arrow. I'm up to 56,000 here. That is going to come out a little bit. And at the start of the day I was happy with that. I kind of knew that was likely to happen because I expected Cole Palmer and Mo Salah to do well, and most of the people had them captain, so they did claw back my rank a little bit. But I'm going to end up with... let's see if Fantasy Football Hub is loaded. No, it's still not loaded. Let's try this again. See if it'll load up. It does load up on my phone, but it may not load up here for whatever reason. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, no, it has loaded up. There we go. So, yeah. Live rank is 63,710. So not bad considering I came in from 116 and 52. I'll take that. I've literally just halved my rank this week. So it's been pretty damn good. Actually, they think Mo Salah's only going to get 2 bonus points. That's interesting. I feel like he's going to get all 3. But maybe Cody Gapco could. I'm not sure. I have to have a look. See who gets the most points there. But look, I can't complain. Other than the fact that I made some poor decisions on my bench this week. That's 11 points. That 11 points could have been the difference between 63,000 and potentially 40,000. But can't really be complaining. It is a massive green arrow again. I would say it's a massive green arrow. When you're halving rank at this particular point in the scale, you're definitely doing well. So FPL challenge, really quickly, we're just going to go there. I did not go well this week, other than the fact that I did get the goal and assist for Mo Salah, so he had a massive score of 44 points from him. Ironically, I was unlucky with Mazraoui. He obviously only got 1 point, which was disappointing because he went off before the clean sheet. He went off in 55 minutes, just a sub. And I think a lot of people will be quite annoyed with Ruben Amorim does like to make early subs, and that could be problematic moving forward. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now, next week it is Red Hot Deal. Man United players earn double points. And for this one, you've got to pick a whole team. Now, I wouldn't be recommending you pick like all Man United players. I don't know what your budget is for this either. Oh, you get 75 mil. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you'd bring in an Ahmad here. Let's get it. Let's get an Ahmad in. He's going to be quality. I think you just, I don't know. Let's see what forwards have got what this week. So João Pedro, I'm pretty sure looks pretty good. Nicholas Jackson's got Southampton, so he has to be in. Really, you probably want Cole Palmer. I don't know. Let's see if I can actually afford all these players. Palmer. Up front, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Defender, let's put in Mazraoui. I feel like goalkeeper-wise, he's not someone that's going to be keeping a clean sheet, really. But then these are hard to... I feel like Kelleher, who's he got? Newcastle away. That's going to be a tougher fixture, probably. Sanchez away. Yeah, that seems pretty easy. Just got to load up on that Southampton fixture. I still think this is the best fixture to target. Now, I didn't mind. All right, let's go to defenders. All right, let's see what we got in here. Who's playing a nice team? Brighton Hove Albion home, Ipswich away, Brentford, Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka could actually be a fairly good shout this week. I feel like 8 Nori is a good shout. How much money we got now? 36.9. We'll go 8 Nori, and I reckon Leif Davis, Crystal Palace at home, he could be actually pretty good. I'm going to whack him in there. He'll be in the differential video tomorrow, so keep your eye out for that one. In the forwards, let's go to the forwards real quick. And who have we got here? Nicholas Jackson's in. Cunha looks good. Watkins looks good, actually, against Brentford. Liam Delap against Crystal Palace. I'm going to go Delap because I need some cheaper players. And then Watkins, and what have I got left? 17.8. This is a good question. What do I want? I think we should go with that. And then in the midfield, actually, get rid of that. Transfer out. In Vanlinson, I really like, but I'm not going to go with him. I feel like potentially Vardy could have a Vardy party. I'm not sure. Actually, let's just lock it in. We'll lock in Cunha, and then that means I've got a bit more money in the midfield. So let's go to midfielders. It's hard to leave out Mo Salah, but I think I am going to leave him out. Actually, nah. Stuff that and bring him in. That gives you 6.6. Who have I got for 6.6? It's going to be good this week. Kulusevski, he could be all right. 6.6. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want for 6.6? Savio, Nottingham Forest at home. He could be all right. Can you whack him more than four players from one team? Yes, you can. I'm going to go with Enzo. Yeah, I'm going to go Enzo. Just save team. I'll deal with that later. All right, so on to what we should be doing this week. So people, obviously here, I'm going to go to my transfers. So I've got rid of Brian and Buemo, and I bought in Matoma. And I got rid of Van Heck, and I bought in Timber. Now, the reason why I did that is because, well, this is a little bit reactionary, but sometimes you've got to move with the landscape. And Matoma has scored twice in the last 2 weeks. And Brighton are on that amazing run of fixtures, and I really like him. He plays 90 minutes every week, so you're not having to worry about that. He's fit, he's not injured, so I think that realistically he can stay in your team long term, and I just like the look of him. I mean, his attacking numbers are pretty good, like 0.57 expected goals, 0.42 expected goals. Like, he's getting chances. He's up to 0.29 expected goals, 0.18 assists per game. That's almost half an expected goal involvement per game out of one. That's pretty good. And he's been pretty good at converting those numbers as well. So I really like him, and and with the kind of run of fixtures that they've got, there's no reason not to go there as far as I'm concerned. So that's just my personal opinion on that one. There are other options, and I have talked about Amad Diallo, and he has looked really nailed on under Ruben Amorim. Obviously, Kluivert has looked really good for Bournemouth. For the fact that he's on penalties as well makes him a lot more tantalising as a prospect, and I think that's something that people could go to. Shout out to Shade, though, who got those 3 goals and an assist for Brentford. Like, that's not going to happen again, but well done to him. He hadn't scored in like 10 months or something, and he just whacks out a lazy hat-trick just like that. Now, Jurrien Timber, I bought him in, and I made my transfers super early. Again, he had 0.12 expected goals. Like, I feel like some attacking returns are 100% going to start coming for Jurrien Timber. Just watching that West Ham game, he was a constant threat. And I think that moving forward, you will expect Arsenal to keep clean sheets. And he was the cheapest nailed-on spot I could find other than David Raya. So it was either Verbruggen to David Raya, or it was Van Heck to Jurrien Timber in order to free up that Brighton spot for the Matoma move in midfield. And I just figured that Timber, I don't know, would provide me more chances for points than David Raya. That's pretty much where I went with. So I'm hoping it pays off long term. But look, I'm not overly thrilled with the game he's got first up with Man United at home. Like, being a United fan, I feel like we're going to give Arsenal a pretty decent game there. So that's just my personal opinion on that. In terms of Tottenham, they were disappointing. This week it was Kulusevski that started on the bench, so that was interesting to note. Now, one player that does have a really good run of fixtures for the next 5 weeks is Jarrod Bowen. So West Ham, I'm not sure if they're an option, but I feel like if you wanted to move a Brian and Buemo out, it's probably for either Jarrod Bowen, Anthony Gordon, who did well for Newcastle on the weekend. He obviously got the assist for the own goal there, and he looked good. And with Isaac out, I don't know if Isaac out hurts Anthony Gordon or not, because he sort of had to play up front in this game, because obviously Callum Wilson's not yet fit enough to play the whole game. So that's something to keep in mind at the back of your head. But Jarrod Bowen's a really good option. Anthony Gordon's a good option. If you can get up to Martin Odegaard, that is probably the picks. Now, I couldn't get up to Martin Odegaard with the way my squad is structured because of the fact that I have money invested in my forward line in terms of like Isaac. So, and Jackson. So like, really, I could drop the money there and then be able to afford Odegaard from like a Matoma. But at the moment, I'm happy to roll Fernandes. I feel like Fernandes versus Odegaard, there's not going to be much difference in terms of the points output this week. And then obviously the week following, Bruno Fernandes has Nottingham Forest at home, and I feel like that's a pretty nice looking fixture for Bruno, just based on what I saw today. And I think that we're likely to see more points from Bruno Fernandes moving forward. He's just too creative as a player to worry about him. So I think you probably hold. And the good thing is that Bruno is on penalties, and if United are attacking more like they did today, there is every chance they could potentially nab one. Whereas I feel like Brentford's run is a lot worse in terms of the teams they're going to be playing being better than them. So that's something to keep in mind. Virgil van Dijk continues to be brilliant in defence. He was very unlucky not to score a goal today. But he's racked up another clean sheet, another 6 points into the bank, and to the top of the charts he goes in terms of defenders. I actually have no defenders that are anywhere near the top in my team. Nana obviously got another clean sheet as well for Manchester United, so that was something that has to be said there. There was an option of now Chris Woodpecker. He was fantastic for one last time against Ipswich, and he obviously got the only goal in that game and 3 bonus points. The man's got a bunch of bonus points this season. I think he's had 18 points in 13 games or something. No, 18 bonus points. So he's got 3, 4, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18. 18 bonus points in 13 games. It's insane. What a return. This man has been phenomenal. And like Chris Woodpecker, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to you. I wish I'd won your signed shirt. You have been amazing for my fantasy and my journey this season. But we thank you. I did get rid of you a couple of weeks ago, but he has been fantastic. I just want to shout out to him once again. Now, a lot of people moved Strand Larson to João Pedro, and you'll be exceptionally disappointed if you did this. Yeah, it's just a rough move if you did that. I do believe, again, let's talk FPL. I saw him write on Twitter about this move. He did this move, and he'd be absolutely filthy on it, I reckon, in his knee-jerk stream tonight, I reckon. But Strand Larson, a bit like Cunha, is massively overperforming his XG numbers. But the next 4 fixtures are delicious for Wolves, but they are fast running to an end, those fixtures. And then from then on, through to game week 27, it's very much a much rougher ride, a bit like the start of the season was. So Wolves probably need to start making some hay while the sun's shining, because their run of fixtures is going to end very shortly. And they play a poor Everton side this week. I'll be backing Wolves in to go there and get a result. So I feel like this week is a really good week for him. If Vanlinson got a hat-trick of assists, which is impressive, I feel like he's a really good option that not many people are talking about, 2.1%. But he has been fantastic. His expected numbers are pretty damn good as well. 0.51 expected goals, 0.06 expected assists per 90 minutes this season. He's getting closer to being a 90-minute man as well. I think he's just embedded in. And after the Tottenham game this week, they've got an amazing run. Ipswich away, West Ham home, Man United away, Crystal Palace home, Fulham away, Everton home. They're all really good fixtures, and I really like them moving forward. Definitely something and somewhere you potentially could go. And then Delap, I don't mind him either. Now, I don't mind Davis either. The Ipswich's run the next 3 weeks is pretty damn good. It's just, you just got to weigh up whether it's worth it at the end of the day. So that's where I'll be going with in regards to that. Now, look, remember, it is a tight deadline this week, and you need to be making sure you're across your moves, making them early. There were a bunch of price rises and drops on Saturday after the Friday night deadline, so it'll be the same on Tuesday night. You've just got to be switched on and making sure that you're all across it. As I said, Brian Mbeumo will be, I would hazard a guess with the numbers that are selling him, he will also be a dropping again in price at some point this week, I would think. Brennan Johnson obviously scored as well, so people that were quick to hop off have been burnt the last 2 weeks. He has scored twice in 2 weeks. So just keep that in mind. He has been pretty good, and Tottenham have been just one of them infuriatingly inconsistent teams, so it's very hard to read, but definitely something you need to be aware of. And look, as I said at the start, game week 13 wildcard squad, the only difference I would have had was Bruno Fernandes for Martin Odegaard, and that's pretty much the team I've moved to. I've still got the... If I think Odegaard's going to continue outperforming Bruno, I would make the transfer probably in game week 15 or 16. Maybe when Man United go to City, but the way City are defending at the moment, they've just been no good. So let's have a quick look at Erling Haaland. He still sits at top of the striker charts, but he's slowly getting caught. I mean, he could be caught by Nicholas Jackson by the end of this next game week. Now, Manchester City's run does change significantly. The stats for Haaland are just insane. He's only scored twice since game week 5 now. It's mad. Twice in the last 8 weeks. It's insane. Like his expected numbers in the Liverpool game weren't the best. It was only like 0.19 expected goals. But it is going to improve. Like City are through that difficult stretch of games and they've won none of them, ironically. But it does get relatively easier from here. Nottingham Forest at home, I feel like they should go all right there. Palace away, Man United at home, Aston Villa away, Everton at home, Leicester away, West Ham at home, Brentford away, Ipswich away. They are all games where Haaland could be popping off. And if he continues to drop in price, he will be a bit more tempting. But yeah, it's just one of them ones like, do I really need him before game week 28? Because if I don't, I might as well just not bother with him until then. And I think from there you probably do need to bother him because they have a lot of those teams that you want to be targeting towards the back end and the run in for the season. So look, that's my thoughts on Man City. I feel like if you've got their assets, you probably hold now because you've got through that tough run of fixtures and it is going to change. But if you still wanted to make the move, I wouldn't blame you for wanting to make the move because, look, they have been relatively poor. So, look, if you've enjoyed that preview, I will be back tomorrow with my differentials video and I'll also be including my wildcard draft for game week 14 in there. It's going to be very similar to the 13 and 12 ones. I feel like I've been across it pretty well moving forward. I might just change some of the defenders because the defenders have been doing my head in. But other than that, that has been Fantasy Premier League, the DNH journey, early thoughts and preview for game week 14. Make sure you get involved. Make sure you press that subscribe button as well. And if you're following on audio or Spotify or whatever you're doing, please make sure you rate the show and give us a follow as well. That's been the D Unit.